G2 Esports, a squad with numerous trophies, a rich Rainbow Six history, and shining plays and players, recently took home the 6 major pairs title, but their road to be the major champions was not as clear as one would expect.
A month before Paris was a super hard and dark time for the team. A lot of clashing issues and struggles, especially internal struggles between players. We had so many issues during and after DreamHack Valencia, which also resulted in our loss.
The squad that was PENTA Sports at the time was in a rough place as a team. They were coming off a devastating loss at the Pro League Season 7 finals. Then they were knocked out by I Don't Know in the DreamHack Valencia semifinals.
This was a point at which many teams would begin to shuffle the rosters, but in this squad we talk about the issues and we work them out as a team together for the entire team. We're not changing people, we're one family. We scheduled a 30-minute team meeting that turned into a 2 to 3 hour meeting where everybody talked about their feelings, how they failed, and most specifically, we had the individuals who were facing troubles with other teammates directly approach them in that meeting with the entire team and say, hey listen, I have a problem with this, this, and that, and you gotta fix that. And then that person in response can go back and say, that might be how you feel, but how I see it is that you're doing this, which kind of causes this issue for me. So we talked it out and we fixed it. After the meeting, it was so much better though. Everything felt more fresh and it felt like we played as a team again. Instead of playing against each other, we played with each other. And everybody worked together to help the team succeed again.
Once Season 8 of Pro League began, the squad held their own in Europe to start off undefeated in the first half of the season. Then, they would go off to the Paris Major.
Going to the Paris Major, we're putting Group B with Fnatic, Ninjas in Pyjamas, and Mockit. This is something that we were actually really happy with. It was definitely one of the easier brackets. Not that brackets or groups means a lot, but just getting a safer passage where you can show less strain and less strats is a very, very nice thing for a team, generally speaking, to give you a stronger start in the actual major.
It's going to be detected. All up to Jonas, the Finnish player against the Swiss. Panics. We'll have to clutch this one out here as he sprays right into him, but Jonas will hit the shot by G2, who put the first map on the board. Entirety of the map here, the UMP being expended to get 1 kill off of it, but it's already enemy getting 1, alive getting the second, and that's Panics getting 1 more. Pengu all on his own now. He gets 2, can't get the third. Unfortunately, Mockit absolutely wiping the floor with G2 drop and play from behind them. There's 15 seconds on the clock though left, and Jonas from the side will get the kill. 5-0. Hallway now. Know where they're at. The shotgun will finish him off, and there we go. Goga and Kanto will clean the round up. Kanto Raketti with a 3K at the end. 6-1 is the scoreline for map number 3 on Bank.
G2 had a fair start, taking Oregon and Bank against Mockit, while giving up a 6-0 loss in Villa, totally decimated.
Facing Mockit first was a big confidence booster. We knew how they played. And generally speaking, the only thing that kind of was a letdown was getting 6-0 by Mockit, which was the only map that we lost in the entire tournament.
Next, they went on to play Ninjas in Pyjamas.
From Blue, but Goga and Fabian doing great work. 2 from Fabian, and 3 Fabian, the captain himself, taking out the shotgun.
And he's looking to fight off on this box. He's got the pistol out, and Pengu has the rifle. He will win the round. G2 take it 6-0.
Kamikaze, last man left. He has an ACOG, he can take a long-range engagement, but Diffuser about to hit the quarter mark. And there's Jonas. Finishing things off 12-4. Penta will be the second team to go to our quarterfinals. They will get tomorrow off.
Now in the quarterfinals, G2 headed up against Millennium.
I want to talk about Villa a bit more because that's where we saw G2 get dominated in their group stage games. Alex, why did they get dominated so hard there?
I mean, most of the time when they play a map like that and they lose so big, they come back and dominate the team afterwards. So.
Talk about this so much. The refrag though from Kanto Raketti for a 3v3. The zone in the main stairs is making noise, and Kanto Raketti comes into his zone. Control those equalizers as well as the Yokais, but there we go, the play by Goga. Again getting in to push from the opposite end, but Goga's ready. The bearing 9 in hand, he goes in for 1. He finds the 2, Goga takes them down. Doesn't have the information on Kanto Raketti's position. There you go, they know exactly where he's at as they try to sprays through the wall. FN57 in hand, and Kanto Raketti. Smokes to his advantage. Goga will get one. There's a second one down on the floor. Right behind his gets definitely the advantage of G2 and Goga. Defensive side, Hicks with one. Kantaraketi with a trade-off against Livin. Kantaraketi finds it onto Rise as he goes down in a 2v2. Bako down with the refrag, all up to the star player of Kantaraketi. He finds the headshot. Bako's on the floor. Kantaraketi playing from the eastern stairs. Does have the rotation holds. His advantage and not enough time. G2 will take the round and secure the second map in a 2-0 victory.
Before the match, before G2's surprise on Villa, Millennium's coach Krapel claimed, "Today is a day we make G2 fall." After the match, well, a simple tweet saying, "I guess I was wrong," with a sad emoji.
So, in regards to playing bad on Villa, a lot of people saw that as a trick or a master plan. It was funny because Fabian and I were walking across the stage to shake the players' hands from Millennium, which we just beat 6-0 on Villa. And I whispered to Fabian, tell Matt Andrews in the interview that it was a part of the bigger scheme, that losing 6-0 was on purpose, because people believe it and it might trick him into thinking. And that's what happened.
G2 then moved on to play against Team Secret in the semifinals, the same squad that eliminated them in the DreamHack Valencia semifinals just a month before.
The team's feelings during and after the match against Team Secret was pretty hype. Team Secret was the team that we saw as our European, I guess, biggest competitor. Team Secret came undefeated from Challenger League. They have players that were very recognizable, that we're aware of, and that have been in the scene for a long time, like Mibi and Lackey. Alemsh, a player that I have been looking up to for a long time myself. He's a really good player, and who's also a veteran player who's played alongside myself and other teams since the very beginning in Season 1. Beating them was kind of like the confirmation that we were the better team, because they beat us during DreamHack Valencia in a very, very close game. And then we beat them in Pro League, I guess the week or the 2 weeks after in playoffs. So it was 1-1, we're tied. They beat us, we beat them. And that game for the Paris Major, that was kind of the deciding factor where, okay, who is the better team on a big stage? Who can perform when we need to? And the 2-0 that we dropped really proved that. It really settled that.
Finally, G2 went on to face North America's Evil Geniuses.
And we'll have it, the rematch from Six Invitational 2018 will happen, ladies and gentlemen. EG versus Gamers 2.
Thoughts about playing against EG, mood of the team in preparation was, I think it was a lot different than the first time around during Invitationals, because during Invitationals, we looked at EG as the strongest team in the world. They were the reigning Invitationals champions, and we were the reigning Pro League champions, and we were on an NA crowd, and more specifically, Canadian crowd, and they do have the Canadian, Troy Canadian on their team. And I remember very specifically that once we were qualified for the final, it was like, alright boys, pack up your things, we're going back home to the hotel, we're preparing for this, right? Going to a hotel room, all 5 people, in fact all 7 people, Farrell and Shaz included. 7 guys in a small room, that must have been a terrible experience. Terrible smell as well, Jesus. And we prepared. We just spoke about very simply what maps do we want to play, what order do we want to play them, and how do we feel about going to the match. And we had a long discussion about Consulate. Consulate was a map that we had been hiding for, I think, 6 or 8 months from Pro League, and no one knew that we played it. It was a permaban of ours. And we actually ended up playing it, second map. And during the pick and banning phase, I wasn't there, but during the pick and banning phase with Farrell and Shaz, when we said very confidently after like a very short second of thinking that we will pick Consulate, they told me that the face of BKN, the current coach at the time for EG, who's now at SK, and Troy, their faces just shifted from happiness to sadness. They did not see that coming. And I think the mental edge that we gained from that, and the mental edge that we had from being so confident, not dropping any maps except for the 6-0 Villa, and really feeling on top of our, our shape and our form, our performance was really strong in that tournament and leading up to it as well. I think we just didn't feel like anyone could stop us, really.
time. Jonas goes in for the spray. At the angle. Extra gas canister shot in the back. As Jonas again, the second kill. One more up top. He finds it. Pengu gets the kill on Necroc. And Derek Gates going in. Young with a pre-fire. Cantoric Eddie. Holding the back, he'll find the angle on BC, but it's managed on G2 to deal with it. Pengu will win it. Cantoric Eddie with the second G2. G2 will down EG as map number 1 with a 6-2 scoreline. Go the way of our European squad of G2 Esports. Down in the hash. Less time left. Pengu gets 1, gets 2. Spotted across here. BBA. Don't give this man a takeoff. He spots the second though. He'll deal with one man. Canadian goes down, and there you go. G2 secure map number 2. That's the North American Pro League. Oh no! There it is! Closer from the wing. Fabian with one more. Jonas, the back spray. Is there someone alive? Goga with 1, 2, getting the victory, and he goes down. G2 will take the win, and for one more time, G2 will take it. That's the second major tournament of the...
Ladies and gentlemen, G2!
I guess the thing that it comes down to is that we had a really hard time during Invitationals. I think that Invitationals was one of our darkest times, and one of my darkest times specifically in my entire career. During Invitationals, we pretty much almost disbanded. We were threatened to get banned by Ubisoft, and I had a lot of stuff on my head due to some Twitter drama and general really poor behavior that I couldn't change at the time, but you know, with a lot of time after, I've changed and I've undone. And we had a really tough meeting at Invitationals, and just we faced the reality of the devil, right? We really looked the devil in the eye and said, shit, we fucked up. And during Valencia, we had a similar thing. It was like, what's the issue? Is it a roster change? Is it an IGL change? Is it like, what's the issue, right? Like, why are we not performing? Why are we platooing? Because we know we want to be the best players in the world. We have the potential and the resources to be, but we're still not really there. Like what are we missing, right? And I guess what we did was not only confront the issues verbally, but we're very creative and I guess willing and open to try and change things. So after that meeting, the first thing we did was that we changed IGLs. We put Fabian off IGL completely, and I IGL'd our semifinal against Team Secret, which we lost single-handedly. Obviously with help of my teammates, but primarily I was alone. And we figured out that me IGLing alone is not our strongest suit because it changes how we play, and we also definitely can see that when we put the resources together with Fabian and myself calling alongside each other and splitting it down the middle, that's definitely our strongest suit. And then Goga actually started shot calling as well, because he recognized that why should Fabian or Pengu step up when I can step up with them, when Junis can step up with us, when Kenzo can step up with us, and everyone kind of stepped up their IGLing and their calling and communication. But Goga specifically took on like the planting part of our IGLing, because usually Fabian will do early stage, I'll do mid stage, and then Goga does late stage. And now with that, we're even stronger. So I think that meeting really put a lot of issues to light, and then the players themselves were really good at picking up what they could individually do to help those issues. Where a lot of teams, they would face a player change or a roster change, or maybe a coaching change, a staff change, or maybe just not confront the issue. Because I know that a lot of American teams, from the information that I've gathered, at least through the people I spoke with, that when they have an issue, everyone knows about it. It's like the elephant in the room, but no one talks about it, right? And most importantly, I think a lot of teams, you know, let's say person A and B have an issue with person C. Then A and B would just shit talk that person in between themselves and not really bring it to the C person, so that the C person just feels like he's being left out and he doesn't know what he's doing wrong and he can't fix it. And that's kind of the issue we had that one time. for the first time in a long time, I think, we usually just talk to each other. And then once we actually, you know, confronted it together, that's when the issues started going away and people didn't feel like they were being singled out because the tone of the team was just negative. And negativity is what overcame us because we were way too negative towards each other and ourselves. Not just when we lost, but even upon victory. Losing one round in 6 rounds was not okay, and we started harassing each other. And it was not a fun environment. I think Juna said specifically that this is my work, guys. This is the only thing I do every day that I have to do because it's my work. And it's actually one of the only things, if not the only thing, that I don't want to do right now. I would rather do dishes or, you know, take out the trash, which are daily boring duties, than be in this work environment because it's so freaking negative. And I think that put into perspective just how bad it was because it is your job and you are forced to be there. And when you're being forced into a bad environment, it affects you and it puts you into that bad mindset and behavior as well. And it's just like an evil circle and snowball. But we broke it. We're back.